Hari Om. Welcome to the 47th week of Vedānta Jñana Yajña. Shall we begin? Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. The last session, we left at a very, very crucial point that now you have found your Guru, your Sadvidwan. Follow his advice. The Vidwan has said not just anything, he has said what the Shastras have said, what the scriptures say. So you have to listen carefully. In the Vedantic terminology, śravaṇa is a very technical term. It is not merely hearing. One has to also understand, meaning listen deeply and understand the Upanishadic knowledge that it is speaking about. If someone is very highly prepared, meaning if the purity of mind is there, they say that he, she will get the knowledge just by listening. śravaṇa mātrena labhyate. Otherwise, we have to understand and correct our mind, focus our mind on every single word, every single teaching. Therefore, listening to the Guru becomes very important. It is called śravaṇa. After śravaṇa, what to do? Bhagwan Sri Adi Shankaracharya suggests to us is the next advice. Think deeply on the meaning of the Mahavakya. Means the Vakya Artha. You have to vichar. You have to give thought about it. Every single word and every single sentence of the Mahavakya, or for that matter, any statements from the Upanishads, must be properly understood, accepted, and absorbed. It is the Mahavakya where the oneness is pointed out of the individual with the infinite. But their meanings also must be understood properly. Or else, if you again hold on to your old, earlier notions, then the whole seeking becomes meaningless. We move on to the next advice. Bhagavan says, one should take refuge in what the Shruti Vakya, meaning what the scriptures, the Mahavakyas are saying. So what have we done till now? We have heard, listened to the knowledge from the teacher. Then we have focused on that knowledge. Logical thinking. One has to reflect on that so that there are no more any confusions or doubts or questions left in the mind about the Mahavakya. After thinking and reflecting on that, what is heard, if one is arriving at the conclusion that I am just a jiva, I am a limited being, there is no use, therefore, what is the point? Then there is definitely no use. One should resort, one should take refuge in what the Shruti has told you, what the Master has told you. Because only when you take refuge in what you have heard, that you will be able to follow the path. Let me give you one more example. If someone reads Ramayana, Ramayana is one of the most beautiful sacred texts. It is called Itihas, or the ancient history of our land, where there is a villain and his name is Ravana. Imagine, after reading the whole Ramayana, if one comes to this conclusion that Ravana was a saint, then what to do? I'll give you another example. If one starts with this thought in spirituality that I am a miserable person, and after reading all of the Vedanta, after listening to the Guru, one says, I am convinced that I am a miserable person. Why did you then study all this? If you are going to hold on to the same old thought that you had, then what is the point of studying? Therefore, after Śravaṇa and after logically thinking and reflecting, one must understand what the Shruti is saying. Taking refuge in the Mahavakya means understanding the point of view that the Upanishad is giving. One must take refuge, ashraya it is called, in the meaning of the teachings that the Upanishad is giving. If not, then there is no remedy for such a person. When we gain knowledge through valid means of knowledge, our ignorance should go away, isn't it? And the right vision should dawn on you. If not, what is the point? Therefore, Bhagavan says, take refuge in the Shruti Vakya or Mahavakya. The next advice, one must refrain from indulging in fallacious logic. Fallacious logic. Dustarka. Sometimes some people can give such kind of logic, and if we are not very alert, we come to very wrong kind of conclusion. An excellent example of fallacious logic is, there are two words, punya and papa. Punya means merits, papa means sin. It is said, punya gives sukha, meaning happiness. Papa gives dukkha, means pain. Now comes the fallacious logic. Punya means merit, is sukha means happiness. So feasting every single day gives me great happiness. That means that is punya. Exercising gives me a lot of pain. Pain means papa, so I shall not do that. You see how someone can twist the same words and come out with some weird kind of logic. All these examples are of how one can confuse us. Therefore, don't get into this kind of arguments, and therefore one must refrain from indulging in fallacious logic, is the advice of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Yes, sometimes you feel if someone is speaking a ridiculous thing and I know what the right thing is, then you should get into argument. But the point of knowledge is not about arguing so that I am right or you are right is proven. You should always have a discussion so that the truth comes out, not so that I am right or you are right comes out. The next advice, stick to the logic which is given by the scriptures. Shruti matas tarko anusandhiyata, meaning the idea is very simple. For example, whichever field of knowledge we study, they themselves tell you how you should be thinking. There is a process of thinking in every single field of knowledge. To give you some examples, if medical research is being done, there is a particular method. One cannot go on mentally doing something. One has to do experiments and do research according to the rules and regulations laid down. If it is a scientific experience or a research that you are working, then there is a scientific method that alone must be followed. Think of a science experiment. Mostly they recommend us what? Repetition of the same experiment, so that the example that you are seeing, the experiment that you are seeing, you can observe well, note it properly, and see to it that every time that you do, the same results come, or observe something. But can the same logic or the same rule be applied for history? Can you repeatedly ask somebody to go for war so that you can observe and do your experiment? Nay. Therefore, when there are two different sciences, when there are two different subjects, the way to reach to the conclusion, the approach will also be different, and how the research is done is also different. One must follow these, and then alone one can come to the desired conclusion. Of course, one should ask questions. After all, we are all human beings. We are all thinking beings. But understand the logic. The research ought to be according to the science that one is following. Therefore, inquire into the meaning of the Mahavakya until one is fully satisfied. Tarka, which we call as logic, by itself is not a means of knowledge. It is only a supporting information. One has to learn with proper pramana, valid source, the valid means of knowledge, and then with tarka and with your own anubhava, with your own personal experience, we have to verify it. Very quickly, let me sum it up for us. What did we hear today? 1. The advice is think deeply on the Mahavakyas. These are Vakyas which directly indicate you to the truth. 2. One should take refuge in what the Mahavakya or the Shruti Vakya or the Vedanta Vakya, the Guru Vakya is saying. 3. One must refrain from indulging in fallacious logic. Do not keep listening to here and there. Be focused. And finally, follow only the logic shown by Shruti. Shruti meaning Vedas. Vedas mean Upaniṣad. With this, we come to an end of today's talk. But as you can clearly see that one by one, step after step, we are getting closer to unraveling the mystery of the entire universe, which starts from you. I hope you do not miss any more sessions. Let us thank our God. Let us thank Gurudev. Let us thank our parents. Everything that they have done for us. Kindly join me for prayers. पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति शांति शांतिः हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम हरि ओम।